Live night news. If you're a lot like me, then you might not like you. Welcome to another episode of Hours of Clarity. I have my friend Scott here, returning after a wonderful one-on-one for 45 minutes the first time, and this alcohol forgets to press the record button. So we have him back, blessed again, taking the time out of his day to come and speak with us just about his life story. And I just want to say at the beginning of this, click like, subscribe, do all the things. And any donations to the PayPal link below will go to Brentwood Recovery Home, as we are both Brentwood alumni. And we appreciate you. And as all episodes do, all funding, if anyone does donate, will go to outreach centers in the community by choice of the person that I'm talking with. So just introduce yourself, my friend.
So I'm Scott Collier, and we've been buddies now for... I'm going to say 15 months or so.
Yeah.
16 months, maybe even.
Met on program.
Yeah, met on program. So it's been a great time in recovery. I'm now 17 and a half months in recovery. So
right. You give me a little applause there, my friend. I'm happy for you. You know, it was a blessing meeting you. I remember our first one-on-one. You had mentioned a joke because I'm blind in one eye, and then you had some vision issues. If we both stood on the opposite sides of each other, we could cover both sides.
Yeah.
We'd both be able to see on each edge. I was laughing about that the other day because I had a memory like that with somebody like a long time ago. But regardless, I've had the blessing of knowing you for quite some time. You're a scholar and a gent. I'll just say that you're a good dude.
Thank you.
And what was that paper thing that we did for the donations? What was that called again? Because it's the first time I've ever done it.
Oh, the Goodfellas.
The Goodfellas. Yeah.
Is a really good film. So.
Yeah, I heard about that. Anyway, so it's like, we've done a lot of good things together. Volunteering, social committee. I know that you just recently had to withdraw or whatever. You got a lot going on in your life, but you've been doing a lot of positive things here. You're on the board. You're helping out a lot with Brentwood, and I really appreciate that because this place saved my life. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I just want to get to you and a little bit about your story, where you came from, maybe, what you had to kind of go through, if you want to talk about your childhood, anything like that, when you started using, when you realized it was a problem kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So I had a good childhood overall.
Yeah.
Everyone's always got challenges. I had very strict parents for sure, but a good upbringing and a loving family. So kind of no excuses there.
Right.
In my grade 12 year, I was a Rotary Exchange student in Mexico. So I was 17, 18 when I lived there. Right. So I'm fluent in Spanish. So it was a life-changing opportunity and loved it. But there was no drinking age there. So that's really when we...
so you got the kick right off.
Yeah, got the exposure to drinking more alcohol than I should. And definitely, I had different phases on and off of drinking more or less. But most of my life, it was very much those social drinking. So it was, going out with the guys after work or whatever, or that type of social setting. And then in more recent years, had some major family challenges, career challenges, and different things that had transpired in life that, kind of shifted me into, a severe depression.
You think it's something to do with the way we cope or the stress levels or definitely
I think so, right? So it was even to the point of feeling suicidal and the alcohol
and for you it's just alcohol, right?
Yeah, it's just alcohol, but not that it's just, but that's the only I never got into drugs. So
the depression side of things, that's a hit and miss. You still suffer from stuff like that, like when you were 18, you said, or was this more of
no? That was more in recent years. Right. So it ended up though that now the alcohol consumption shifted from social drinking to drowning pain and or numbing pain, drowning sorrow.
Drinking when you get up.
Yeah, exactly. For no reason at all, even on my own. Exactly. So it. It reached a point of unhealthiness for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
you have a wife, young children.
Yeah. So all our children are young adults, between ages 18 and 31
right
now. But so I have 5 children. Jody's got 3, so 8 between us, plus 3 grandsons now. So
congratulations, you're a blessed man.
Yeah, absolutely. So an awesome family. But it reached the point where Jody said to me that, Scott,
that's your,
that's my wife. We're not,
that's
common law, but that's my wife.
So she says, Time to clean up the act.
Yeah, said you're wearing your alcoholism like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And that needs to change. So it wasn't like she's not opposed to drinking or anything like that. Like she drinks, but
it's got to be.
But it was out of control,
right?
Right, and so
was Brentwood the only place you came?
It's the only place I've come. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you're a blessed soul.
Yeah.
Catch it, receive it, keep it, and give it.
Yeah, and I live in Leamington, which is like 45 minutes from here.
Yeah, but originally you're from Kitchener, right?
No, all over. I'm actually in my 31st home.
So when you,
I was in Kingsville before.
Kingsville, that's it. Sorry, I don't know the area too well.
So. Yeah. Kingsville is close to Leamington, and I lived in Harrow for a lot of years, and in Windsor, Chatham, and stuff. So
31 houses. It sounds like my childhood moving around with my mother a bit.
Yeah.
I remember we counted something over 50 some houses in Sault Ste. Marie area.
Yeah, and I count Brentwood as one of those homes.
Okay. And it's the final state, the home away from home.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's a 90-day program, but it was, certainly a great support for me, and and my family's been very supportive. Absolutely, got to meet you, got to meet all kinds of good, friends that are now lifetime friends.
Well, like you said, we were just talking
30 years from now.
We were just talking about a gentleman that we both met on program, right? Not to mention names, but you know what I mean? It's like that. It doesn't matter ups and downs, trials or tribulations, right? You're still in touch with the guy.
Absolutely.
Right? Stuff like that. Those are the connections we're talking about. Like, another friend that's, incarcerated right now. Yeah. Right? Like, that's a dear friend of mine too, right? Like, it's like,
he was my roommate.
Right, exactly.
So in touch even with his girlfriend while he's
like you said, the lifestyles, right? Good childhood, foreign exchange student, like me and that guy didn't do those things, right? Type of deal, but we can all be friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Like and one of my close friends from here moved up to London, but we stay in touch. Like there's certain friends, but now other people have come to me. Like, somebody, came to me last week. Okay, literally to help their son.
Oh, so this is probably somebody through work or this or that.
He's only 23 years old and looking for guidance. They knew that I'd come through the program and was doing well, that I'm 17 and a half months in recovery, and so it I was able to go sit with him and have good heart to heart. Now I've added him to our daily commitments. Right, I do daily commitments with my sponsor Ken, and you and I do it.
Talk with Joe intake.
I haven't.
Okay, so that's but it depends on what the person wants
he's
to,
not
right?
Quite there yet,
right,
but
exactly.
He is. He's going to AA meetings, and he's now doing a lot of healthier decisions than he was.
I'm really proud to hear stuff like that, because I tried talking to a couple people about the difference and advances in what we can do as people, like how we advance in our recovery, I guess, but without the recovery part, like putting that first and foremost. Like, I know without my meetings, I'm not going to be able to be of service to anybody, because I get grumpy, I get frustrated, I wake up negative, like I don't have the best personality to begin with, because I practiced negativity for so long, right? So just being able to now listen to somebody ask for help. Like, I remember, like, my grandmother asked me to help a family member. Right. Now my family member's on program, and that's from 20 hours away. Yeah. So they're on program now, and then their partner as well just came on the program. So they're both sides. Beautiful. And it's like, if I didn't change they have to make their own choices, right? They have to want it. They have to do it all themselves. The application, the way, the whole thing, you got to do it, right? But to initially have that person to go to know that, what's it like, and then they don't have to worry about wonder like what the program's like. You can give them insight, you can be there for them, like guide them into the whatever help they want to receive, right? Like, not even necessarily coming here, any program, right? Sure. So I don't know, I'm just that's the part that I'm happy about, like being at a point in my recovery where like if somebody does ask me a question, I don't have to say, well, I don't know, I haven't even done it yet. You know what I mean? Like, or I don't want to hear it because like I'm not interested. It's like I can actually be of service that way, right? So I always like hearing stories like that. So let's get back to 18 years old. You're an exchange student, and you're there for a year. Is it this through high school going into college?
Yeah, like so it's grade 12.
Grade 12, okay.
Yeah, Rotary, which is an international service organization, is the one that sponsors it. So they send exchange students all over the world.
Right. So you spend
a year in my case, it was a year in Mexico, and actually have our 36-year reunion coming up.
Oh my goodness.
Where guys are coming, like some of them I saw 11 years back.
Okay.
But some of them I've not seen since 1988.
Oh, that's cool.
And coming from Australia and Idaho and different places, right?
Yeah. So that's really cool. Look at the smile on your face.
Yeah. Oh, you've been looking forward to it for a long time.
Okay, so you graduate or you finish the exchange and you come home with an addiction. Kind of thing.
I wouldn't say it was an addiction at that point, but I had probably picked up
the tendencies,
negative habits of drinking more than I should, and that kind of that.
So how old were you when you first came to treatment? Because this was only 15 months ago, right? Or 14-ish.
So I would have been 52.
Right.
I just turned 54 today, actually.
Oh, is it your birthday today?
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday to you. Right?
Yeah.
But, congratulations, buddy. I'm happy
you.
for you. You got any special plans later?
I'm working until 9:30 tonight.
Oh, so, what a dedicated soul. I'm gonna bring you a cupcake and a candle.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna have to DM your boss here.
When you get to be an old grandpa, you don't care what your birthday is.
Just another day. You know what? I really like talking with you because we just have good conversations in general. Like I find out it's the guy's birthday. I've known him for 15 months. Like, what's going on with me, right? Yeah, good friend, touche pas. Don't touch it. But regardless, I'm happy for you. Happy birthday. When you came back to Brentwood, when you first came to Brentwood, you're 52. You said, right?
Yeah.
At the time you entered the program.
Yeah.
So you come into Brentwood and you'd never been to a treatment program before.
No.
So
I had no idea what to expect.
Right, and so you didn't ask for help, right? Prior to this, just maybe on your own tried quitting.
Yeah.
And did you have successes throughout your life?
I did. Like so I've got 5 kids of my own.
Right.
But the 4th and 5th are twins. So
didn't you meet the first two woman down south there? Remember we had.
Yeah.
So
So she was from Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah. Lives here in Windsor now.
Oh, cool.
But during each of the pregnancies, I wouldn't drink during the pregnancies at all, just to be a support to them, since they can't drink when they're pregnant, so I wouldn't either, and that type of thing, and different fitness programs I was on where I would quit, but
never last.
But and it never. I was never intending to quit forever.
Right.
It was I'll quit for the pregnancy and then or for a
Did you
fitness program or whatever. But
learning the white knuckle thing, right? The dry drunk is what they say. Like with any substance, if you quit and you just cold turkey, and you think you can do it yourself, you end up stirring too much, getting a little crazy. You find that you can look back at that now and see the white knuckling moments or the dry drunk moments, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then so when Jody talked to me there, this was November of 2022.
Right. The badge of honor.
So that I quit on my own then.
Right.
One thing I didn't understand, they'd asked me, do you need to go to detox?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I don't think so. I quit on my own. Yeah. So they put me on a waiting list for 2 months. Right. After the fact, I found out if I went to detox, I could have been in quicker, but I didn't realize that, or I would have done that. But I don't really need it. I can just stop.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. Waited 4.5 months. So it was roughly from September, mid-September to February 7th. That's how long my wait was.
Yeah.
But
and then on program, then there was like half a dozen different guys with alcohol, like severe alcohol issues, that ended up having seizures.
Yes.
And they're like, if you just stop cold turkey, you can
die. Yeah,
you can have a seizure or major complications. And
right.
I had no idea, but I never did personally. But I didn't realize it was even a risk until after the fact.
So just being non-informative, right? Like not having the information, because like say we did ever go to a detox center, they talk about these things, right?
Sure.
So they tell you why and what and this and that. But when we think we can do it on our own, like look at the range of information that you've gained just from coming to the program, right? And then learning about you, but that's the whole side topic. What I'm getting at is like you didn't know nothing about seizures, you didn't know nothing about like what the effects of alcoholism, the DTs, and like the whole withdrawal process. Like I didn't really know too much about certain things either. I was only knowing about the things that I was addicted to, right? And only because of physical and actual, I went through it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's definitely at least enough to want to get informed on what happens or how it goes. Like for anyone out there, just like kind of reach out, if you struggle with anybody that like a family member or anything like that and you want information, it's there, right? Like, it doesn't take much to pick up the phone, call a detox center. You don't have to admit somebody, but just ask a couple questions. Maybe call the treatment center itself that you're looking into, or whatever program, and find out, right? Because there's people out there now collaborating together in the community outreach centers and whatnot, where everyone's getting informed, right? People are attending different things from different outreach centers together to learn about these programs and like to talk about different things, right?
Yeah.
So it's good information regardless of being an addict or not, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. I had a hard time coming into the program. I don't know if it was the same feeling for you, but I want to get to that. Thinking that I was here for me, like I chose to come.
Yep.
You know, like I thought that I actually was choosing to come here, although my stipulations and conditions would tell you otherwise.
Right.
Okay, so I wanted a lesser jail sentence, which I received, by the way, God bless. Like, I'm serving time in the community right now for blessings upon blessings. But my question is, did you believe, for instance, even though you reached out and your wife with the badge of honor put you on spot, that you actually chose to do this for yourself when you first got here? Or do you even still believe that, let's say?
Yeah, I still do believe it.
Yeah.
Was there external pressure? For sure.
Okay.
And yeah, so it was a combination of
wants
of and needs and motivations and things. But ultimately, did I have to come? No.
Right.
And so, and you know, or could I have looked at other programs? I suppose.
Sure.
But I, you know, actually, the first day I came,
I got him stirring.
Yeah, I actually forgot this, but so after the badge of honor talk and all the challenges with Jody and I, I came, and I want to say it was a Sunday.
Okay.
But it was a weekend.
You can't do intake on the weekend.
Can't do intake on a weekend. Plus, I guess you can't just show up for intake. But I just assumed you could. So and I didn't know there was a woman in a men's. So
you went to the wrong side?
So I went to the building in front where the women are, and just walked in. And I'm like, I'd like to come and intake. They're like, you can't be in here.
In the K. Ryan building?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sort of, where am I supposed
find out on program, you're not even supposed to look at the women.
You gotta go down there.
Yeah, just to find out when you get here, you're not even supposed to look at them, man.
Yeah, so I ended up coming down here, and the guys at the duty desk were like, yeah, no, you gotta call like on a Monday.
And do the regular thing,
and go through these steps and do the proper process.
You know how funny that is in a similar way? Okay, so mine was a little different. I waited for the once a week calls, but when I did finally book my plane ticket, right, I wasn't really informed on the days. So I went for the cheapest route within, because they called me on like a Tuesday and said, can you get here like tomorrow or something, right? And I'm like, no. Like, I have to buy a plane ticket. I've been waiting on a waiting list, right? So like, well, as soon as you can, da-da-da. So I called back. Yeah, I booked a plane ticket for Saturday. Like, we don't do intakes on weekends. So I just spent $600, right? On a plane ticket from Sault Ste. Marie to Windsor, 500 and whatever. And God bless my father for helping out with that, because I had to call back. You get a voucher. They don't reimburse you your money. They give you a year to fly anywhere, right? And then I book another plane ticket for Tuesday. So it cost me like $1,200 to get here. I finally get here, and I do the same thing. I pull up in a cab. Okay, I jump out. I'm at the women's smoke pit where they do the Brentwood lottery. So they're selling 50-50 tickets, but it wasn't with lottery. It's right where we do all the meetings for the, you know. So I'm out front. I'm having a cigarette. There's all these women around. I'm going like, you know, they're looking at me like I'm, you know what I mean? The groundhog just poked his head up. Like, is it going to be another 3 weeks or 6, whatever, you know, however that goes. It's like they're just like waiting in awe. Like, what's this guy even doing here, right? Brutal, buddy. It was terrible. I felt like a black sheep for sure. And then I was informed, you can't be over here. You need to go down the... You know, and I get it. And so it was kind of funny that you said that. And similar things happen, I guess. I'm happy you came, buddy, because you know, it takes a lot. A lot of people have multiple intakes, you know, and they never really turn you away here, which I really love. They'll allow a person to keep trying and trying. Not to say like they don't kick them out or whatever, but you know, if you go and you go through the process and want help, and you never know when it's going to click. But there's a few people that come into rehab one time. They get what they're getting and they stick with it and help the guys and they do positive things, right? And you're one of them, and I'm really I'm proud of you. I honestly am.
Thank you. I mean, it's a lot, and
I'm sure Jody is too, and the kids.
Definitely.
How are you feeling today about? Say, let's talk about some successes. You know, what have you got? You wrote a business book about your business planning and stuff like that.
So
I am on page 4, by the way. I am. I'm on the 4th page.
page a month.
Yeah, there's an introductory, which I can prove to you now because that's 2 pages long.
Yeah.
You see? Okay. So you know I've read.
Yeah. And I do mention Brentwood in the
That's
book.
right.
So I've launched a business consulting business that has various components to it. So leadership coaching, and that's really what the book is for.
Right.
It's it's supposed to be a 1 hour read.
I've been given this book 2 months ago, Scott? Yeah, about 2 months ago, and like I said, page 4.
So here's what I'm going to tell you, because most people are not reading it in the hour that it was intended, and it is possible because I've read it in 63 minutes. But we're going to rename it because it's 13 leadership principles. Okay. Right. And so we're going to rename it the 13 poops. And put it by the toilet, and you read one principle a day. Tomorrow you come back, get it. In 2 weeks, you'll be done. Well, they told me if I read 15 minutes of the Bible a day, I will have the Bible read within a year. Right. So I figure if I give this 15 minutes a try, I'll have it done in at least a year or two. Yeah, you can read a principle in 5 minutes. Okay. So you know what, Scott? I'm going to make a dedication next week to actually finish the book. All right. Because it's no longer a joke. But we're explaining to me what's the title of the book. So it's called A Leader's Dozen. Leader's Dozen. And it's 13, kind of like the principle of a baker's dozen, where they give you the 13th bun. Yeah. Leaders always give a little extra. Yeah. So 13 principles. Is that what the baker's dozen is? Why do I always think about eggs when they say that? No. What's 6 eggs called? Like not a half a dozen, but like isn't there a thing for that too? I don't know. Okay, that's off topic. But so you wrote the book. Yeah. And then you opened the business. Yeah. So the business, it also does like business consulting, sales, coaching, and training. And you teach about what's that you were talking to me about breaking down your will and where your money goes, kind of stuff like that. So like I'm a certified financial planner by background, so I've spent 24 years in that industry. Right. So do a lot of help there, but there's also an arm of strategic philanthropy, right, and charitable planned giving, which sounds like a long-winded pompous name, but basically it's to help charities with their fundraising efforts to be able to fundraise more and to use strategies to take advantage of opportunities to be able to raise more money for the different charitable causes. So I had 2 events this week, actually, one in Windsor and one in Kingsville. Well, and Brentwood was part of it. Or what are you part of right now? So Rotary. I have the long history of all the way back to being an exchange student, and I'm on the board of directors here at Brentwood, and on a number of committees at Brentwood. So they're involved with it. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. So Paul McKinn from the team who heads up the fundraising here, he attended to get some ideas for Brentwood, but there was a number of different charitable causes in Windsor, Essex County that participated, and brought in a guest speaker from Toronto who's a national expert who helps fundraise for places like Humber River Hospital and the Royal Ontario Museum and different charitable causes, Oakville Hospital. And that. So he came down and shared some of his knowledge with our local charities. Right. So you're doing a lot of things in the community. Yeah. And I always did. That was something even in the past. I always was involved with a lot of charitable and community service type groups in different ways. But when I went through that depression, I had also kind of scaled back. And coming out of Brentwood, sometimes people would say, Scott, you're too busy. It's putting you at risk of relapse or whatever. But for me, I find too busy is way better than being too quiet. Me and you are a lot alike like that because I find when I'm overloaded, I might be late for everything, and I might be triple booked, but at least I'm doing something positive. Absolutely. My mind is meaning and purpose in life, right? Yeah. And it keeps you motivated and inspired, and like I know guys that were on program with us and then have gone on to relapse and that, but I think and I've tried to help encourage them, like volunteer, get involved in things to have meaning and purpose in their own life. Right. And sometimes the feedback is, well, I'm just trying to, I can't even help myself right now. How am I going to help someone else? Think about what you just said there. Yeah. Trying. I'm just trying. Okay, so the word trying, I want to touch base on this for a second because I like how we're hitting this note, isn't a word in recovery for me. Right. Okay, so trying is not in my vocabulary because that's where the stories came from. Yeah. I was just trying, until when? Until I don't want to do it anymore. That's what the word trying means. Yeah. I'll try my best until until so there's an end to it or you're not. Right, you either do or you don't. Yeah. Okay, so even in don'ting,
by not doing something, it still may be the best decision. It could still be a positive thing. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get high. I don't want to drink. Or no, I don't want to fight. No, I don't want to argue. No, I don't want to steal. No, I don't want to gamble. Right? Okay, so saying no sometimes and not doing the thing is the good. Saying yes to get away from it or to get involved, to volunteer, to do positive things. You either do or you don't. You're already doing, and as you're doing, you're naturally trying. So why even say the word? Right. If you're doing something, you're doing it. You don't have to say you're trying. You're already doing it. You're putting in the effort.
Exactly.
So
I find if you have good meaning and purpose,
it saves that.
Even one of the principles in the book is when your values are clear, decisions are easy.
Right.
But often people are very foggy about their own values. And
or
your values don't need to be the same as mine or the guy over there. But
that's where the one-on-ones
you need to know your own values. And often they're not even clear on what they value.
When you came in the program, did you know your value?
Actually, I think I had lost.
That's what I'm saying. We
clarity on my values.
Right.
I had always been very clear on my values and had lost them.
Yeah. And
that's the thing. One of the things I found, and I mentioned this actually in my graduation talk, but I'd had various.
That was a beautiful speech, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was.
But I'd had a lot of fantastic things in my life. Obviously, my family being tops of that. But I'd also had significant life challenges in the past, not just right before program.
Your falls.
But when, and I always said it's not how far you fall in life, it's how high you bounce that counts.
That's right.
But I had been able to bounce back from various traumatic, heartbreaking things in my life that, dragged me down, but I was able to bounce back from them. And for whatever reason, prior to Brentwood, I was not bouncing back, and I couldn't figure out, what's going on. And it wasn't until I was on program that I realized I hadn't bounced because I hadn't hit the ground yet. I was still free falling from 10,000 feet.
Right? And you're still emotionally falling along.
Exactly. So on program is when I bounced. But since then, the farther you fall, the higher you bounce.
And you figure that's when you start getting your self-worth.
Exactly. And so got clarity around values, got clarity around, new meaning, new purpose. That I think my kids aren't little kids where I'm running around to sports and activities and taking them to school and doing those kinds of things anymore.
So
my career's had significant changes.
Right.
But there's new opportunities, there's new positives, there's new community groups that I can be involved in and give back to and help. So it's been a blessing in disguise, right?
Right. And that's the thing too. I find that I didn't get my self-worth. Like I said, I came to the program thinking I chose to come here.
Yeah.
It opens my eyes to a whole world of what I've done to other people, my emotions, the mental state I put people in was the same that I was in. Regardless, I was more into myself. But feeding off of not knowing, because I didn't come here planning to start a business for a podcast. I didn't come here to start, recording music. I didn't come here I literally came here because I didn't want to sit in prison for as long as they were saying I was going for. So 6 years, please no, maybe 4. Let's figure this out. I'll do anything. Okay, so when it came to that point, I didn't know that I had no self-worth.
Right.
I had to get that from the men. I had to get that through one-on-ones because I can give you my shit. You're not going to give me bad advice.
Right.
You never want to see another alcoholic fail. Most addicts and alcoholics in addiction, even if they're using, they receptive, maybe not so much to all of the content. If you're to speak with someone that's high or drunk, they're not going to really receive everything you're saying. But I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 aren't going to say, let's go rob that store together, or you should go and do this or that, or fight or argue, like I said, or all the negative things. Most people aren't giving you bad advice. They're just not.
Sure.
Right. But they'll leave them up to their own devices, leave me up to my own devices, and I'm probably going to wreck my life. Right, I'll probably make the bad choice because that's naturally time and time again practiced and ingrained. So it took me to talk to guys like you, one-on-ones, for you guys to give me good feedback about myself, tell me which ideas are good or bad, and find that guidance.
Definitely.
Slowly but surely, clarity.
And those one-on-ones and the group discussions too, which I often found helpful. But
any meetings,
when you're like I was prior to coming in here, wallowing in self-pity, numbing pain and drowning sorrow with alcohol.
And just waits for
self-medicating kind of thing, right?
It just waits for you to get
and you think, the challenges of life are too hard to overcome. And then you hear some stories of things that guys shared
that have been through.
And you're like, wow, that's That's a lot harder than I ever had it. It takes away some of that self-pity, right?
While you're in your addiction, right?
Yeah.
Do we even care to think about how hard somebody else has it?
Yeah.
Like, no, like I didn't really, like, I'm not, unless you're like right beside me. And even then, you're only in my life for a reason, right? While I'm using. So like, I can't even say that I really did more often than not throughout my day think about too many other people. And if I did, it was because I felt bad for me. Right. Oh, I don't get to see my kids, or I don't, how hard it is to get to these places. Please give me a ride or give me some money or something. There's always an angle on it for me, right? In my addiction. So I only cared that you were hurting for a reason, right? For me. And it's like, I don't know. I couldn't ever look at the broader picture to find out, like, yeah, this person has it way harder. Like, there's always somebody tougher. There's always somebody that has it worse. There's always, like, as much as I think my life is, or who I think I am, there's always things that are bigger, better, smarter, harder. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something as an example to learn from, right?
Sure.
So those things open in your eyes. You find those people too. You don't pity them. Yeah. What's that word? You have empathy, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you learn that here too. You learn like dealing with the groups and like all the topics. What was the main topic that changed your like kind of clicked for you? Like, did you have one of those moments or a person that you talked to or like something on program that, like you said, you finally bounced?
There was a lot of key moments. I think that
one that stands out in particular, besides our crazy eye story,
because it's right here on the tip of my brain, but I'm not going to think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I bet you in 2 minutes it's going to come to me because there is one topic that's sitting right there and I just can't pull it out.
Oh my God.
But that was very key.
I believe that we've already talked about this and I think you mentioned it in your grad speech. I wish we could go back. It wouldn't be the wants and needs thing, would it?
That too, but it's something else.
What about this? What about willingness, abiding? How about what is it, lust or what else have we got here? How
Starts with a D.
Oh, is it the discipline?
No, but that is a key one for me too.
What's the other one that starts with a D?
Because I find guys here when they talk discipline, they think of punishment.
Well,
when I think of discipline, I think of self-discipline.
The big red book here.
And self-discipline to me isn't doing what you want to do. Everybody does what they want to do. Alcoholics worse than anybody.
That's right.
Self-discipline is doing what you know you're supposed to do, whether you want to or not.
Or is it the blue book? We're going to check this because I don't have my glasses. Regardless, we'll get to this after the session. But I just know that there's pivotal points in like you said, there's probably multiple of them, right? Like I had a moment where I have a sponsor, Jim. He broke things down for me. Like, it doesn't matter what you've done in your life, like how say evil or negative, like you're only captive to yourself. Right. Like once I can learn to be forgiven, I can forgive myself. So it took another alcoholic, another person to not shun me, right, with my issues. It took me to trust myself, to see somebody else expose themselves. Like you said, wow, that guy, look, that's what he went through. To learn how to talk, to say, here's my issue, right? Like I can kind of relate or trust somebody to give my secrets, right?
Sure.
And then doing the inventory part of it, right? Like there's no book work here, right? Like we talk, we get down to the 12 steps, but they don't tell you you're even doing the 12 steps.
Right.
You're breaking down like through emotional and mindful state to critique your character defects, right? To like recognize them, understand that I have flaws, first of all. Okay, that guy's similar, that guy's similar, that guy's similar, realizing, okay, it doesn't really matter where you come from. We kind of have the same problems, right? And then I can learn how to trust somebody. After doing that, I learned from my sponsor, I didn't even know he was going to be my sponsor either. That was the thing. I just knew that he kind of talked like me, walked like me, and he's like 35 years old or so. No offense, Jim, if you're watching. But the point is like, you know what I mean?
I don't think he's 35 years older than you.
Oh, he's like 60-something.
Is he?
Yeah. So like, we're going to call it, okay, well, I'm 37, so whatever, you know what I mean? Like 40 years older than me. Sorry, my bad. So
he's closer than that.
Okay, either way.
It's going to beat you up in the
I know, that's it. I was already thinking. But it took him to tell me, like, you know, Matt, if you can learn to share that with me, at least, right? Trust me, right?
Yeah.
So I had to write out one of the things, write out another one of the things, and then burn them with him, right?
Right.
I didn't have to go to my group leader that one. I didn't have to go to group. It was more or less like me and you talking.
Right.
You know, this is what I've done, and you don't judge me. So I knew then that there is particular people that are going to be in my life if I hold them in there, right? It's just up to us to reach out. Like you said, you still talk to certain people whether they relapse or not.
Yeah.
You still can help 23-year-olds. How can we do this if we're not sober today for an opportunity tomorrow?
For sure. And it's one thing I never realized, actually, so in a lot of alcoholics, they've completely removed themselves from kind of anyone else that would consume alcohol.
That's right.
Where I don't. And I never have from day one.
Right.
I've treated it that the rest of the world consumes alcohol, and most of them consume it at a normal, acceptable level.
Yeah, some people
and the fact I couldn't.
Yeah, you're
and so I need to drink zero for the rest of my life.
It's the same thing with my reservation with weed. Like I thought I was going to be able to smoke marijuana at some point in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Like, because I loved smoking marijuana when I was younger. Like throughout my life, I don't think there was.
I never did. So it didn't matter
for me, it was like an adapting. Like I adapted through life and kind of like coped with life because I could just like relax, smoke weed, forget about the issues. So even though it's just like it's legal today, I still know that it's a drug and it's harmful effects to my neurological system because I'm lazy. I have no, what's it called? The I word, like not inspiration, but like initiative is what I'm looking for. I have no initiative. I have no drive. And like, I just want to veg. Like I just want to chill. Like if that's what my life is going to be, I'm just going to chill for the rest of my life. Like you can't do that. Right. So I got to really put in perspective that my reservations, even though I still like the smell, it triggers me. I still think about like, how I can, just watch a movie and relax at nighttime. But still, man, I could do that without the weed.
Exactly. And that's what I've found. Like I can be around alcohol and I find it somewhat astonishing at times watching people when they drink too much now.
Oh, I do.
To go
cringing.
I thought I handled my alcohol well back then. I thought I did.
You were the guy.
But that's how I looked, and I didn't realize that's how ridiculous I was or whatever. Over
I thought it was something.
Yeah, and now it's like what I found, in just before coming into Brentwood, before I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Like my head was foggy all the time.
That's right.
Right, and
can prioritize.
Yeah, I used to want to believe, I'm high functioning. Let's say.
I can overcome this.
But certainly by the end, I was not high functioning. I was foggy all the time. And now with 17 and a half months sober, there's the program's called Hours of Clarity.
That's right.
But clarity in my mind, like I never have that foggy moment anymore.
Right. And even if there's a pivotal point where you can't, you can pick and pull and prioritize and get those things set in your day. Like so, it's like you might be confused for a moment, like, oh, what am I going to do? I got this, this, and this to do. But at least you can think through it, categorize it, and get through the appointments or get through the day and strategize. Like you said, the clarity in it. I was laughing when you're talking because I was just thinking of how many times we say, or at least I have through my addiction, like I can deal with this. Or I can overcome this, or I can manage, or I'm a functioning addict, or I'm a functioning alcoholic. It's okay. It's not really a problem. So wait a minute. If I have to say I can deal with this, and then I have to say I don't have a problem when someone says to me like you need help or something, right? Or my life is unmanageable and things are getting messed up. Why do I even have to say at the very beginning of this, like, oh, I can deal with this to myself, right? When I'm just, this isn't that big of a deal. I can pay this. I can take the money from there. I can do this. I can twist that up. I can buy the next 8-ball, or I can buy the next bottle, or right? Yeah. So what am I having to overcome? Why do I even have to say that to myself at the beginning of the?
Yeah, I thought that I hid my alcohol consumption well.
Again, why do I have to hide something?
Until Jody kind of threw it out there. You're wearing your alcoholism like a badge of honor.
And we don't fool my buddy.
But mentally, you think you are.
Yeah, real smart.
After Brentwood, when I, and especially after I hit the 1 year mark of sobriety, because I didn't kind of publicly announce it as much early on. Yeah. But when I hit the year mark, then I went extremely public. Right. And then it's even in my book and things now, right? So it's like for the world to see. But it's how do I say it? It's friends have come back to me and they're really happy for me and all that, and they're very supportive in general.
Because
I've also come to realize I wasn't nearly as well hidden in the closet as I thought I was, so to speak, right? Like
I have the same moments. I think that probably happens to like almost everybody in recovery. Like you're gonna find that people that distance themselves from you because, and they don't say nothing. They don't want to hurt your feelings, right? They don't want to be the person to lose your friendship, but they're also not going to talk to you anymore because they know their boundaries.
Right.
We didn't even know what boundaries were.
Right.
Like, so, we're imposing on people. We're putting our problems on people, our loved ones and whatever, whether it's neglect or it's disrespect or it's, the lack thereof for love, right? Or any sort of, even your stresses, like you said, she's like, you're wearing this like a badge of honor. You can't prioritize. You're not getting your life together. Your responsibilities are going out the window. Like, what is wrong, right? So I got that in different circumstances. Mine was more like the phone calls from jail. Can you please help me? Like, not this time, bud. Like, I've had enough of you, right? My family had to set up boundaries, right? Until they seen that, the clarity, okay, and my way of talking, my way of acting was a little different. They offered the help again. Or let's just say after you prove yourself for so long and you're living a better life, they come back. They call you. Hey, how are you? I'm proud of you, right? So you get the friendships. You get the people. They'll come back to you. And if they don't, well, the certain ones that we've heard, that we can't, tell them how to feel. We're going to let them go through their process too, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Scott, we're getting to a point here. I just wanted to tell you that, I really appreciate you coming on. You're at a point right now, and too, I also want to say, Jody, you're a blessing. I've seen you through the program. Your wife is amazing, coming and helping the guys, bringing them coffees. And that's a good thing, too. Like, Brentwood allows your families to come and actually enjoy, the facilities with you and bring the kids and, have that, youth group and, the what's it called, the support groups and the couples groups and, the outside therapeutical sense of Brentwood, which is usually spread by word of mouth, right? But the point is it's available. And it's the people can see that for what your sons or daughters may be going through on program here. It is a euphoria that we get back in gift, if we really internalize our emotions and go through the struggles, because we got to go through what we're getting to, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I appreciate you coming on, bud. I hope we can do this again.
Yes, absolutely.
One of my best friends here, and I appreciate you,
brother.
And,
appreciate you.
Yeah,
and everything that you're doing for the people here.
So like I said, again, click like, subscribe. If you want to donate, please, it'd be a blessing. It's going to go to Brentwood Recovery Home and Outreach Centers in the community. It's non-for-profit. I appreciate you. This concludes this episode of Hours of Clarity, live night news. If you're a lot like me, then you might not like you. Have a great day, folks.